Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here. Friday morning. It's a Friday Freakout. And this week they've been giving out more of the awards for this past season in the NBA, announcing the all defensive teams and the all NBA teams. And I've looked at these teams and I've really thought about them, and I've made new teams the way that I would like to make the teams yesterday. And some of the things I took into consideration were the new rules for next year. A lot of the people that made the teams all defensive and all NBA wouldn't make the teams next year because of the new 65 games rule. In fact, there's a bunch of all NBAers that shouldn't even be on the team. I know I said Joel Embiid yesterday, but I was wrong. Joel actually did play over 65 games, but there are other huge stars that did not. So I'm going to present my picks for all NBA and all defensive and what I think it should have been this year instead of what it's been. Of course, we're going to talk about Siakam and why he should be on the all NBA team for sure and where he should be and stuff like that. Let me check in with you guys real quick. Nacho the Nacho first in. Tatum's very lucky to have a good team to bail him out. Devin Booker, yikes. Yeah, the opposite. Not a very good team to bail him out. And he was mad when he left last night. Devin Booker and the Suns eliminated from the playoffs last night by the Nuggets. Coach Malone saying, just finish them. And, well, they went and did it. And a fantastic job by Denver. Phoenix is a good team, and they have a lot of good players, but they're a little bit too, not together for a while. And that just doesn't work that way, Kevin. I'm sorry. And, there's people in Phoenix, they're calling for heads already. They want to change their team quickly. In fact, they want to get rid of Monty Williams. They want to get rid of Chris Paul. They want to get rid of DeAndre Ayton. So, yeah, there's some interesting things in Phoenix where things did not go as well as they wanted. And you go, Denver Nuggets. You're in the Western Conference Finals. I'd like to see y'all go all the way to the finals at this point. You're my team out west that I like the best. So, yeah, Boston was set up to lose this game, and Philly had a great chance to close them out last night. But some weird stuff happened near the end. Jason Tatum woke up. He was 1 for 14 for the first 3 quarters of the game. Looked like absolute hot garbage. Was going to get saddled with a lot of bullshit from the Celtics nation and around the NBA with look at what he just did in this important game. If they had gone out last night, holy crap, they were going to have been really hurt his career. In some ways, I'm worried that the NBA was worried about Jason Tatum sinking his stock last night. So they had to help him make sure that they came back and won. Sixers did not shoot well enough to beat them. And it's too bad because you guys really had them on the ropes and you had them right there, Doc Rivers. Well, it is Doc Rivers. We have to remember this. And now they have to play in a game 7 in Boston with Doc Rivers as their coach. And this will be the 16th time Doc Rivers has coached a game 7 in the playoffs. You want to know how many times he's won out of those 16 times? Well, out of the 15 times before, 6. He's 6 for 9 in game 7. So he's more likely to lose this game for the Sixers as a coach than to win it. You guys needed to take care of business last night, Philly. This is bad because now in some ways the momentum's on the Celtics side and they have the home court. You guys did really good in game 5, so hopefully you can replicate that. But man, you had the chance last night. You should have just beat them and put them out. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's see. Race Mode Daily saying, have a great Friday. Fun day, guys. Too bad the Sixers couldn't close last night. There's a 1% chance that they can win in Boston. See, Edmund's saying it right there. He doesn't think the Sixers have a chance. Well, I mean, in some ways you can't count out James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey. But it is going to be a lot harder to win it the game 7 than the game 6. This is just how these series go. If you're at home and you could close a series, get the job done. Don't go to the other arena if you can have to go to another game. That's just how it is. You really need to do that. Take care of business in your home courts. You don't have to go on the road to go see them on the other court. Good morning to Cool Cat. TGIF to you, Cool Cat. Always good to see you. And Fiercey, good morning, fam. Pascal is way better than Randall Brunson as well. This list is so wrong. All right, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys. No. Anyone with the link, copy, done. All right, I'm going to post in the comment, in the chat, I'm going to post a link to my spreadsheet of my teams that I made up, and they directly have to do with what Fiercey's saying here. She's saying Pascal's way better than Randall. I cannot disagree with this in any kind of way. This is the thing. Julius Randle had really good stats all season, but he's not really like all NBA in my mind. Sure, he was an all-star already this year, but I don't think he should be all NBA also. He's kind of disappeared at key times. He's been a problem on the team. He's been a problem in different ways, whether it's been on the court kind of basketball play problem, or it's been a problem like with culture or being around the team with his attitude. So I don't like rewarding that. And in fact, if we're going to reward somebody from New York, you're exactly right. It should be Jalen Brunson. He's had such a huge impact on that team this year. And really, their trek into the playoffs, a lot of it has to do with Brunson, on the back of Brunson, him carrying them in some ways as a leader and also scoring wise. So that is a big switch I made. Representing the Knicks is Jalen Brunson. Now, what I did was I excluded everybody who played under 65 games except for one person, Jimmy Butler. And the only reason why is because Jimmy Butler played 64 games. He just barely missed the cut. But the way he played in the playoffs and what he means to the Miami Heat and the fact that he didn't make the All-Star team, I felt like he still needed to be exactly where he was. So I left Jimmy out of all the people who didn't make the cut on the All-NBA teams. But I cut LeBron. I cut Steph. I cut Giannis. Because seriously, the list of players that did not play 65 games this year are is crazy. I mean, I'll read it off. Giannis, Anthony Davis, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Kawhi, Tyrese Halliburton, John Morant, Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker, James Harden, Jaren Jackson Jr., Paul George, Brandon Ingram, all of those people, and Zion Williams, of course, that none of them would be qualify for my all NBA or all defensive teams because they did not play the amount of games that are required by the NBA next season. So I'm looking at it that way. So on my first team, all NBA, it's pretty much the same as the one that they picked. You got SGA. I'm so proud of SGA. Second Canadian ever on the all NBA teams after Steve Nash. And on the first team in his first vote, that's very well deserved and awesome. You know, the first team all NBA is interesting. If you have Giannis in there, all five of them averaged over 30 points a game. And this is the first time this has happened since 1961-62 with people like Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain on the first team All-NBA. Well, this is the second time this has happened in the history of the NBA where all five of the people in the first team All-NBA, including Giannis, have averaged over 30 points per game. Well, I'm taking Giannis out, and I'm putting Jaylen Brown in his spot. I'm going to give a little bit of shine to the Celtics, even though I don't really like them. I will say that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can be the all-NBA first team at forwards, and I'm fine with it. Joel at center, obviously, I put him there partly because he's the MVP, and we got to give him his shine, even though you could be debated whether Jokic should be in the first team or Joel. It's very switchable. As far as the centers in general, I think they got it right with Embiid, Jokic, and Domantas Sabonis. So I didn't mess with that. I just left the centers the same way. So it's the same starting lineup, just Jaylen Brown switched in for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it's really because Giannis missed the cut with how many games you need to play to make any kind of postseason awards. So Shea, Luka Doncic, of course, very well deserved. Luka Doncic is no argument that he's first team All NBA. Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That is my first team All NBA. And Celtics fans, you can't be upset at that. I put both your guys in the first team, and that's actually better than what the All NBA did with Jaylen Brown being on the second team. Now, on my second team, I moved some of the guys up from different places. De'Aaron Fox, very much deserving of being on All NBA, in my opinion. He's a big part of the reason why the Sacramento Kings did so well this year. Donovan Mitchell, even though I think he's kind of a hack and he's kind of stupid, he gets on that team just for his prolific scoring and the numbers he was putting up this season. He did play enough games this year. And we need some sort of Cleveland representative. So I'd like it to be Mitchell and none of this Evan Mobley crap. It's so dumb that Evan Mobley is ranked on so highly in both races, as far as like mostly in all defensive. I totally snubbed him on the all defensive team. And then Jimmy Butler, as I said, even though he didn't actually make the 65 games, I'm just going to give it to him just on his promise and what he did as far as in the playoffs, the Hemi Butler stuff, and what he's still doing now. And the fact that he just barely missed the threshold. And I really kind of want to celebrate him more on the All NBA team and Bam on the All Defensive team. And Pascal, I put him in as the fifth person on the second team. We all know Pascal played an All NBA season. He had a better season this year than last season, and he was all NBA last year. So it just makes sense. And I'm going to put him on the second team. Forget that third team stuff. I went and looked at the votes, and both Mike Ganter and Doug Smith of the Toronto Sun and Star, respectively, voted for Pascal to be on the third team All NBA. So our Toronto writers were supporting our guy, Siakam. Good to see that. So I've got him in at the second team with Jimmy Butler at the forward. So second team, De'Aaron Fox, Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Jokic, Jimmy Butler, and Pascal Siakam. The third team, I brought in some more new names and I cut other guys. Like I said, LeBron's not on one of my All NBA teams. He did not play enough. Damian Lillard is not either. He did not play enough. And neither is Steph Curry. He did not play enough. And I'm leaving out Julius Randle, even though he played enough. I don't think he's an All NBA type player, even if he has some of the stats. You know, they said Trae Young had empty stats, and that's why he's not on any lists. Well, I believe that to a degree. You know, he got really mad after the All NBA teams were announced and Trae Young was excluded. And they're saying, they're calling me empty stats. Well, yeah, in some ways, that's kind of true, Trae Young. And Julius Randle is the same kind of thing to me. So instead, I put guys that I felt were very deserving. Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks at guard. Anthony Edwards, All NBA, third team in my book. I think Edwards has been fantastic for the Timberwolves. If I'm going to give any shine to anybody on the Timberwolves team, it should be Edwards. One of the leaders in the league in steals, a prolific scorer, just a really good player, and the epitome of what the attitude of young players should have these days. If you can play, go play. And so I want to reward him. Sabonis at center. And then my two other forwards on the third team are DeMar DeRozan and Lauri Markkanen. Now, Markkanen won most improved player, and he's getting some shine, but his stats are really that good that he could be All NBA also. And then I'm giving a nod to DeRozan. It could have been Zach LaVine, actually. They're both very even, but I got to go with my guy. And I really do feel like DeMar DeRozan has been valued in All NBA consideration for most of his career. In fact, he's only made 3 All NBA teams since in his whole entire career. And I feel like that's a travesty. So let's give him another one, put him on the third team this year. So my All NBA third team is Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and Lauri Markkanen. So yeah, those are my All NBA teams. What do you guys think about them? Give me some comments in the comments, and I will go over them too. Let me get back into the comments here, and we'll do my All Defensive teams next after this. Let's see what else you guys are saying. G saying Tatum, Booker, and Durant shot horribly. If Pascal had those numbers, he would be destroyed. Even Fred. Tatum has been highly inefficient, but he is lucky to have Brown. You know, it wasn't even Brown last night either. It's like White, Brogdon, and Smart who were carrying the Celtics last night. They were really anemic at scoring. It was one of these Eastern Conference defensive battles where everybody was having a hard time scoring on both sides. So in some ways, those battles really do favor the Sixers because when you got a big man like Joel Embiid and it slows down to a grind like that, he should be dominating like he was. He was scoring a lot, even though the game was in muddy sludge. And that's why when you have the big man, the big slow game is really good for having the big man. Cool Cat saying, I knew Pascal would not get awarded because OG got all defense team. You know the deal with the Raptors. Put Pascal on a U.S. team, he would have so many awards and would be talked of so much by ESPN. You know, in some ways, Siakam is getting kind of the awards that he deserves. I don't, like I said yesterday, I don't know if he totally did deserve All NBA this year. I'm putting him on there because I'm a homer. And as this shirt says, North over everything. But in some ways, the way he lagged at the end of the season and didn't finish strong kind of was part of it. I think it is really part of it. Now, I've also talked about this phenomena. Sometimes they do this thing where All NBA and All Star are kind of the ability to give the awards and kudos out to many different people. So they may have gotten Pascal with the All-Star nod this year. And they're like, well, we don't really need to give him All NBA then because they flipped it with Jimmy. Jimmy didn't get the All-Star team. And you could make the argument that Jimmy Butler should have been an all-star this year. So instead, he gets an all NBA on the all NBA team. Now, last year, this happened in the flip reverse, where Jimmy was an all-star, but he didn't get all NBA. And Pascal wasn't an all-star, and he got all NBA. So it's kind of like the all NBA team in some ways is a catch-all to catch maybe a guy who didn't get the all-star that should have. And in this case, it's Jimmy Butler. So I think that that's part of the phenomena there. It's like if you're going to get both, you really better be creme de la creme, top of the league. But if you kind of, well, they may spread it out and give a little bit to each side, each person. Oh, you're an all-star, but you're not all NBA. But oh, you're all NBA, but you're not all-star. And that's the phenomena kind of here. So Siakam's getting his nod with the all-star berth this year, even if it was a replacement. That's the other thing about it that's kind of screwy too. But you know what? In the end, he's still getting accolades, and that's what matters. He's not getting ignored. At the height of Lowry and DeRozan, they quite often would only pick one of them. You know, you would be Lowry goes to the All-Star game this year, DeRozan goes the next year. Sometimes they would both go together, but they really were measured with how they would distribute like All-Stars and any kind of awards to Lowry and DeRozan over the 2010s. So it's a similar kind of thing. I think Pascal's resume at this time with his years is really good, considering he is a Toronto Raptor and we do get slighted. So he is getting recognition, which is really good. It's really, really good. So I agree with you, though. I don't know if he would get much more shine down south. In some ways, he could be on Milwaukee and it'd be about the same. You know, if Giannis wasn't there or something, who knows? Kukat's also saying that. Hang on. If Pascal had Tatum's performance his entire playoffs, he would not survive the slander. Tatum is the NBA's baby that is coddled. Yes. Yes and yes. And in fact, maybe the NBA media machine saw him dipping his stock so low. It was a crash. It was like the Tatum stock market crash last night. Everybody's seeing, oh man, this guy sucks. They had to save some face. So, you know, in some ways, maybe they told him, it was like, if you don't play good in the fourth quarter and do something and help them win, you're going to have a lot of hell to pay tomorrow when everybody comes after you for shooting 1 for 15 or something like that. So in some ways he had to wake up and, you know, save things. And maybe in some ways the referees and different people were like, yeah, we need to help the Celtics right now. Because if they go out like this is going to be a huge dumpster fire and very damaging to their franchise. In some ways, the NBA does look out for people in those kind of ways. And if they can really hurt a team where they feel damage and stuff that they want to, they will. But if it's a team like the Celtics and they're kind of trying to protect them in some ways, no, they'll probably try and help them. In fact, let's do the ref report real quick right now. I was just looking at the refs. New York at Miami tonight, game 6. This is the chance for Miami to close it out once again against New York. They really don't want to continue the series and have to go to the New York Knicks and play game 7 in Madison Square Garden. Tonight, the referees are Scott Foster, Kevin Scott, and Trey Maddox. All three of those refs favor the Miami Heat. So it could very well be the last night the Knicks get to play in Miami tonight. So the Heat, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, this is your night to take the Knicks out. It's a very similar situation to what the Sixers were in last night. On your home court, if you don't win, then you got to go face the team on their home court in a game 7 with the crazy crowd. So I would be taking care of business tonight, Mr. Lowry, if you can do it. Now, Scott Foster, we'll see. These guys really do kind of favor you guys. In fact, they don't like the New York Knicks, some of these refs that are reffing tonight. Scott Foster and Trey Maddox in particular have very low win percentages for the New York Knicks historically. So we'll have to see. It may be Miami's night to close the series. And the other series is Golden State at the Lakers, game 6. Once again, this is the Lakers. They need to close it out on their home court. If they don't, then they got to go to the Golden State and play a game 7. And nobody wants to do that either. And, you know, that little dog is predicting that Golden State will win tonight and then win the last game also and put the Lakers out in this series still, even though they had a 3-1 lead at one point. Yikes. Yikes, Lakers. Are you going to fall apart right when you shouldn't? Now, here's the refs. We got John Goble as the crew chief. Courtney Kirkland and Mark Lindsay are the other two refs. John Goble and Mark Lindsay both heavily favor the Golden State Warriors tonight to extend the series. Meanwhile, Courtney Kirkland actually favors the Lakers. So there's a little bit of a split in the ref crew with the Lakers-Warriors game tonight. Kirkland for the Lakers, Goble and Lindsay more for the Warriors. So there's your ref check for tonight in playoff basketball. Scott Foster, Kevin Scott, Trey Maddox are in Miami, and they all favor the Heat against the Knicks. And then John Goble and Mark Lindsay are for the Golden State Warriors, while Courtney Kirkland is more leaning towards the Lakers. There you go, your ref check for tonight. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying this morning. Mike is here, logical Raptors fanatic in the house. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. That's right. Nuggets came through. That's right. They took care of business, baby. That's right. Jokic is getting to the Western Conference Finals. Coach Michael Malone, Jamal Murray, KCP, all those guys are going forward. It's time to do some more work at a higher level. That's right. You go Nuggets. Get that first championship in Denver. I'm all about that right now. All right, MSJ saying his All-NBA team for him is Jokic, Embiid, Doncic, Giannis, and James. That team would be all-time unbeatable. There you go. He's not really worried about the games played like I am. So he has Giannis and James on there. I wouldn't put them on there. And I like that he's gone positionless. This is the other thing that's going to change next year. You know, if Embiid and Jokic are the top two players in the league, they can both be on the first team next year because it's not going to take into consideration the positions. So this is a little bit advanced in that way, what MSJ is doing there with the two center lineup. That is a pretty nasty lineup, honestly. Not going to lie. That is a nasty lineup. Now, who's the power forward? Is it Embiid? Embiid's the 4 and Jokic is the 5? Which one's the 5? Maybe Jokic is the 1. Maybe you do that. You make Jokic the 1, put James at the 2, Luka at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Embiid at the 5. Jokic is the 1. All right, let's see. G saying Tatum, after his shooting, stated he is one of the best players in the world. Oh my gosh, the guy is so full of himself and like seriously, bro. You shouldn't be bragging after a game like last night. You just barely. You're lucky things happened the way they did. Let's just put it that way. I have nothing against confidence. To be honest, but if Pascal had that performance and said that, our own fan base would slander him. Yeah, yes, and yes. I mean, that's why. Oh my gosh, arrogance and like being coddled, like Cool Cat said, really leads to this kind of like out of touch kind of idea of who you are. You got to understand, there's a lot of Celtics fans out there that just tell him he's a god all the time, and he doesn't maybe have a very grounded reality about who he is and what he's doing. So many people believe Jaylen Brown's better than you, Jason Tatum. So check yourself. Seriously, bro. I wouldn't be proud after last night. I would be like, I feel very grateful and thankful that this happened this way. I wouldn't be beaming with pride and being like, I'm the greatest. No, I'd be like, I feel like I'm so lucky that this happened this way because it could have been really, really bad if we got eliminated and I shot the bed like this. That's what I'm saying, Jason. Maybe a little bit of humility is better in these kind of situations. Monique is here. Good to see Superfan Mo. Good morning, everyone. This will fuel Pascal's fire for next season. Yeah, I think so. I think, you know what, listen, what's going to fuel this fire is just how bad this season was for us and really kind of trying to think about how to change this and how to do things better, go about things with the culture of the team better. Siakam, you're expanding your role and your leadership. Well, let's see another level of this. Let's really be a uniter, bro. I worry sometimes that you're on an island in some ways socially with some of the guys. I just want you to bring them together. Can you get all the guys together in the offseason and hang out and have a good time? That's something I put on you, Siakam, that you're a leader on this team and that at some point, maybe you should call everybody and say, hey, let's all get together and go to a restaurant in this city and have a good time and bond some more. That's what I want to put on you, Siakam. If you want to take the next level of being a leader, do that kind of stuff and organize things and be that kind of leader where you say, I'm Siakam, I'm all NBA. Y'all listen to me and I'm going to be a leader with us and help guide us a little bit more. Grow more into those shoes, Siakam. Maybe you didn't feel like you could wear those shoes when you came into the NBA, but you can. You can wear those shoes and like be that guy for us. We need that kind of leadership, honestly. And in some ways, I want you to step more into it. I really do. Let's see. G saying Luka didn't deserve first team this year either. Maybe second or third. His volume shooting didn't translate to wins. Very talented player, but to me, he's the definition of a ball hog. That's fair. I just left him in there because I didn't want to rock the boat too much. He made the minimum games. He has the stats. But you know what? I get what you're saying. In some ways, he's not efficient. And in some ways, the Mavs, they had very serious problems this year. They didn't even make the playoffs, and they tanked right at the end purposely and got in trouble for it. Yeah, I guess you're right. There's not a lot to respect there, but in some ways, his body of work and how long he's been around, and just the consistency of that too. But you know what? If you want to put him on the second or third team, that's fine with you. I mean, that's no big deal. I just don't want to rock the boat too much. I could have maybe switched him for somebody like, I don't know. Maybe I'll put De'Aaron Fox and SGA as the two guards on the first team, something like that. I don't know. Not letting the people that have the bare minimum on that don't have enough is a big factor in this. I mean, you can see the names of people that I'm excluding from my votes just because they didn't play 65 games this year. And that'll be a big deal next year. In fact, I'm going to predict right now that this is going to be hugely successful for stopping the people that care, from load managing too much. That, listen, if they're going to see that, oh, crap, I need to make 65, well, maybe they will get out there and play more often and not take so many games off. That would be a really good thing. And it may be that the people that missed the cut, well, they may be getting on a list of like the Kawhi list. These are the load managed guys, and I don't respect them as much. Well, this guy couldn't get through the season in 65 games. Well, you know what? He's not a true superstar because he can't get the accolades because he didn't play enough. So I think this is going to be kind of successful at giving the effect that they wanted to, as far as making the players more have more gumption to want to play and consistently play most of the season. So I'm going to make that prediction right now. It's going to work really well. Watch. Let's see. I don't think Luka deserved first team. Okay, that's the that's the same comment. It's just written in a different way. All right, Monique is saying another anniversary of the Kawhi shot. That's right, May the 12th, 2019. Kawhi Leonard 4-bounce shot to eliminate the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Fantastic moment in Raptors history. One of the greatest moments. That today is the anniversary of the shot. Thank you, Monique, for bringing it up. We love you, Kawhi. Thank you for hitting the shot. And go Raptors. We won that championship, baby. Yeah. Cool Cat saying Embiid, a big man playing off the perimeter like a guard. Laughable. The process still processing. Lost their closeout game at home. Second round exit again. Ben Simmons revenge. Predicting a lot there, Cool Cat. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We know that, one way or another, with the way this goes with Philadelphia and Boston in Game 7, one of these coaches is going to be in the hot seat. I'm going to tell you that right now. If Doc Rivers chokes and loses this series, it's going to be Doc Rivers' sad story all over again, over and over again. This man is going to choke in the playoffs and give up 3-1 leads like he has in his history. Yeah, it's going to be more to that legend. And then, of course, Sixers Nation will come for his head. Watch. They'll be like, I want to fire Doc. And then people will be like, oh, Nick Nurse on the Sixers? No, that would be crazy. Or then maybe people will be like, let's hire Doc Rivers in Toronto. I'll be like, no, none of that is good. But then in the other flip side, if the Sixers do beat the Celtics in Boston, that's going to be a fail for Joe. And maybe he's in trouble. And because there's such big names out on the free agency market of coaches, they may actually go back on their word and fire Coach Joe, even after only one season, and a very successful one season at that. The Celtics have this weird pattern of having really good success with first-year coaches, and they may fire them each time. So I could see Coach Joe getting fired if they do lose to Philadelphia in Game 7. I could see that, seriously, because there's Mike Budenholzer, there's Nick Nurse, there's a couple other guys out there that not that I want them to go and coach the Celtics. I'd be much happier if they just keep Coach Joe. But the possibilities of one of the coaches in that series getting fired after it's over are very high. Trust me. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Nako the Nacho saying Jokic deserves first team and MVP in my opinion. And yeah, Pascal deserves third at least, probably second. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give him second because I'm a homer. I'm the Raptors freak. Of course, I'm going to give him the extra. I had Jokic in the first team originally, but I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Let's not rock the boat, Lex. Let's just keep Embiid in there. He deserves it this year. He managed to play the 65 games. He managed to do really, really well on a different level for the Sixers than he has in the past. He's just missed the award, so I don't mind giving it to him this year. I really don't. In some ways, Jokic winning the award 3 years in a row would be kind of weird. And not, I mean, in some ways, he is a really, really great player, but he's not that great where he wins 3 MVPs in a row. And that's why I have a problem with it. Logical saying Doc Rivers giving up another 3-1 lead. I know, that's what I'm saying. This is not good for Doc. We know this story. We've heard this song on the jukebox before, Doc Rivers. And Sixers fans have been worried about this with you being their coach for so long, and they see it starting to happen again. That's no good, Doc. You may be gone after this season if you lose the next game. Excuse me. MSJ saying, I think Pascal and Randall are basically a coin toss. Pascal is a better player, but hey, Raps will save some money. But by position, the NBA got it right, aside from Jokic. He should have won the MVP. Very interesting stuff. A lot of you guys are very high on Jokic. I mean, we are Embiid haters here. It totally makes sense. I don't think that Pascal and Randall are that close in some ways. Randall's a really gifted scorer, but he's not a good team player. He's not like a good culture guy either. He's just super, super talented. And he can very much score. He can shoot threes. But in some ways, he's not a good player. He's not a player I would want on our team. Even though he's super talented and a lot of things he does are interesting and people like him in certain ways, but in some ways, I would not want him here. Seriously, he would be a distraction. He's somebody I wouldn't trust. He's somebody that I would feel like could cause a really big problem at a very bad time that really screw us up. So I would take Pascal any day over Randall. And, I get what you're saying. Their talent level, you're saying, is kind of a coin toss. But I would disagree. I think that Siakam's better well-rounded. I think Randall is very offensive-minded in some ways. And in some ways, Siakam's a way more well-rounded player as far as with the assists, the rebounds, and the defense. So, okay, I can get behind some of this. Mike's saying 20 all-star spots versus 15 all-NBA spots. There's a culling. Yeah, well, there's not only that. Like I said, Mike, they may exclude some of the guys who made the All-Star team just because they already got an accolade for the year, and then they'll pick up whoever they missed on the All-Stars, like Jimmy this year in the All-NBA, and that's something they've done for years. This is very much a way that they can kind of give accolades and kudos to a lot of guys more in a lot of different places. 20 All-Star spots is low. There's actually more than that. There's like 24. There's 24 all-star spots. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. The ref report has been pretty accurate lately. Awesome. Yeah, I've been trying to get it right. Although I was really hoping the Sixers were going to win last night. I mean, the Boston Celtics were favored. I did say that. And then the other game, I said Denver was favored against Phoenix, and that was right. So, yeah. Smart Towel RG400. Good to see another new name. That's a cool name. What is that? Is that a cool product? I feel like this is a ShamWow. Do you have a ShamWow? Like, are you going to be able to buff any part of the car with the Smart Towel RG400? I want to know what this is. Jokic has got to be at the number one on that team. Okay, you guys are big Jokic people. What do you guys think about the Mark Jackson exclusion of Jokic? In some ways, I'm kind of mad at people for shaming him for voting the way he did. He made an honest mistake, apparently. He's saying, oh, I just forgot about him, and I just didn't put him on there. But in some ways, he's having to walk this back like he did something wrong. I don't see why people can shame somebody like this. So he made a mistake. He didn't put Jokic on there. What's a big deal? Who cares? People got so mad that Banchero wasn't a unanimous Rookie of the Year because a Utah Jazz reporter voted for Walker Kessler. Where is this, like, everybody must conform kind of bullshit, like, mindset coming from? And Mark Jackson didn't want to put Nikola Jokic on his ballot. That's his own right. So it's like I kind of don't agree with shaming Mark Jackson about not voting for Nikola Jokic. In fact, diversity and a difference of opinion is much better than everybody, yes, Jokic, vote for Jokic, or that kind of stuff. It kind of pisses me off. Everybody should be able to think for themselves. And if you want to not vote for Jokic, there's no big deal with that. But some people are making him treat him like, whoa, how can you do that? You're so awful. Charles Barkley calling him an idiot or something like that, a fool. I don't like that. I don't like that. If Mark Jackson wanted to vote that way, or he did it by accident that way, whatever, he said, take my vote away if you don't think I should do it anymore. I don't know. I don't like the backlash against him in some ways, even though I agree Jokic needs to be included and voted. But that doesn't mean everybody should be coming down on people for voting. And this is such a weird thing where like we vote for politicians, it's anonymous. They don't know who we voted for. Well, these guys are all put on blast and we can see who's voting for who. In fact, there's a huge spreadsheet I just found that has every single vote on it. And I could really, really like audit it and look through it and really see some weird trends with how the postseason awards voting goes. It's like the complete spreadsheet that would be on the Excel sheet that we track for the awards, except it's everything and it's official from the NBA. So, oh man, I'll post those links in the comments after this, so you guys can go and look at those spreadsheets too. They're absolutely interesting. They're huge. There's a lot of information in them, but they have every single person's vote for every single award on these spreadsheets. So all right, let's keep going. Good to see you, Smart Towel. Hope you'll join us again, 9:30 a.m. every single day. Tomorrow we're doing Saturday Share the Love Club. And guys, tomorrow we are celebrating because it's the first day of the WNBA in Toronto. Our pre exhibition game, preseason game for the WNBA here. It's going to be a fantastic event at 4 o'clock. Chicago versus Minnesota. And we're going to celebrate the ladies. And the way we're going to celebrate the ladies with Share the Love Club is we're going to celebrate Savannah Hamilton tomorrow. See, her being a former player, playing for Toronto Metropolitan University before, and now just her role and what she's doing with the Raptors broadcasting crew. It's just such an important, great part of our media. And I really appreciate Savannah and her promotion to being sideline reporter this past year. I thought she did a pretty good job. Started a little green, but she's getting better and better and better as the season went on. So tomorrow, Share the Love Club, Savannah Hamilton on the day that the WNBA is playing their first ever WNBA game here in Canada tomorrow. So yeah, get ready for that. Share the Love Club tomorrow, y'all. Dr. Good Vibes is here. Like to hear the good vibes are in the house. Hello, sir. Keep up the good vibes. Just can't wait for the new coach and changes. I know. We're with bated breath. We're just waiting. We're like that dog at home waiting for the owner to get home. Like we're sitting by the door. Like, where's the door? We want to see what the coach who comes in the door and says, and then we can be and then like rub up all against them and be so happy and wagging our tail and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about? That's the anticipation we have right now to find out who the coach is. Is very much like that. And I thank you for being here, Dr. Good Vibes, and thank you for prescribing the good vibes. And I will try and dispense them as well as I can also. G saying, this is why, as great as Durant has been, I did not want to deplete the team for him. Suns had no depth. Boom! Goes the dynamite. G saying it right there. Not only that, you see, Durant's not involved in any of my spreadsheet because he didn't play enough games this year. He missed a lot of games still. In fact, when he got to Phoenix, he was hurt the first part while he was there. So he even didn't get on the ground running right away with getting those good games and cohesion with the new team, the Suns, that it was delayed even because he was hurt and it took a while for him to actually come in and get in there. Well, they had huge success during the regular season, just overpowering teams with the talent of Devin and Kevin and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. And well, they did really good in the regular season. In fact, Kevin hadn't lost at all hardly with the Suns. But then the playoffs, it's a lot different. It's a lot different. You know, Suns Nation is a little unhappy, a little sad. And that's too bad because honestly, they're in a good place. They're moving in the right direction. Now, they may have to make some big changes. We don't want no DeAndre Ayton. Raptor fans, don't start talking about DeAndre Ayton because he's going to be leaving the Phoenix Suns for sure this summer. We don't want him. Maybe we could have got him last year, but now we got Pirtle, and we do not need DeAndre Ayton. So anybody who's pushing to get DeAndre Ayton in Toronto, just stop, please. Please, just stop. There's no reason for it. But yeah, this depth was sacrificed to acquire Kevin Durant. The Bridges, all those guys went the other way. That's what happens. You know, they did have kind of good players on their bench that they just didn't utilize well enough. In fact, that's part of the reason why they may fire Monty Williams is that, you know, guys like Terrence Ross, you know, they had Shamet. They have all kinds of different interesting players off their bench. And in some ways, they weren't utilized correctly. They came too late to try and use Ross in certain situations. Terrence Ross is a very useful player, but they didn't want to use him in the rotation at the beginning of the playoffs. And then they brought him in finally, and he was starting to do some good things. See, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's not totally that they didn't have a bench. It was mismanaged or at least not used correctly. And maybe very similar kind of issues with Nick Nurse and our bench this season that happened with the Phoenix Suns. I don't think they didn't have a good bench. I don't think that they didn't have depth. They did. They had Bismack. They had all kinds of good role players on there, but they weren't playing them. They were really riding hard on their main all-star kind of top level guys and really not letting enough of the guys off the bench get time to shine in roles and doing things. This sounds just like the Raptors this season. Similar problems with Phoenix Suns. Monique is saying, hang on. Lex, if not with the Raptors, Adrian Griffin deserves an opportunity with who? Fill in the blank. Ooh, this is Monique alluding to the fact that the news came out yesterday that the Milwaukee Bucks are interviewing Adrian Griffin for their head coaching vacancy. It's a fine fit. If they wanted to hire Adrian, I'd be proud and happy for him. And, he has ties with that franchise from before. He was actually assistant coach on that team originally. That's the first team he ever assistant coached on was the Milwaukee Bucks. So in some ways, it's a fit. He's got ties to a lot of teams around the league. Adrian's going to be fine if he's not returning to Toronto next year. So, I wish him well. If they end up making him the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's higher candidates that have more of a better chance. Charles Lee is probably the best chance just because he's the incumbent under Mike Budenholzer and he's younger and they know him. It could be Charles Lee. Like I said, if the Lakers lose and they're out to the Warriors in this round, Darvin Ham may get fired, probably not. But if he does, then they're going to want to get him immediately into Milwaukee. And then the other name that's really going to be like factoring into this is Sam Cassell. He has deep ties with the Milwaukee Bucks also. And if he's one of the candidates being looked at in these coaching searches, and he's kind of been around for a while, he may actually finally get a head coaching job in Milwaukee. So I think their top candidates in Milwaukee may very well be Charles Lee, Sam Cassell, and Adrian Griffin. But Darvin Ham would win it right away if the Lakers cut him and fire him by the end of the season. So that's kind of how I look at the Bucks coach search right now. Let's see. MSJ saying pretender all-stars. Pretender all NBA. Harden, Irving, Tatum, Williamson, and Ayton. Yeah, so these are guys you think are pretenders. I got to disagree with James Harden. If he had played more, I would have included him on the all-NBA teams that I just made because I felt like he was fantastic this year. I will get behind all four of the other names, though. Williamson only really because he just hasn't shown up. Ayton for sure. A pretender. Tatum, yeah, looking like a pretender last night. And then Kyrie is his own kit and caboodle of issues and problems. We know. Mike saying, MSJ, Siakam would only make more money if he hit first team or MVP. His next contract will be limited to a certain point base, not having 10 years of experience, gets a bit more already on second team. Yeah, I in some ways, Mike, you'll know more about this than me. This contract extension thing with Siakam this summer that we would have done if he had gotten all NBA, it would have been higher. In some ways, it's not in his best interest to try and do his contract extension this summer to try and win the award next year so that he can do it with that factored in to how much money he can make. Because he didn't make it this year. He may be more inclined not to extend with us, because he wants to have another chance to try and do the All-NBA and get the right money amount that he would get if he had gotten that accolade. So this is a weird thing. It's like he's under contract for next season, and then that's it. So it's kind of like if we don't do something with him this season, then he's not tied up for seasons past next season. And then there's all the drama and the stupid stuff about, oh, he's in a contract year. Will he stay? Will he go? All that distraction this season. We'll have to see how this goes. In some ways, it's good that he didn't get All-NBA because it will save money, but at least for now. But it may not save money forever. And this may be just delaying and making things more murky with Siakam in weird ways. I don't know. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. If I do know this, Bobby and Masai will game it the way that they take advantage of the advantages of it to the most ability and try and lessen the disadvantages of the whole situation. But in some ways, I think Siakam not getting All-NBA actually does help the Raptors. So we'll have to see. Race Mode saying Sergio as head coach. Well, I don't know. I haven't really heard Sergio's name in the rumors and stuff, but he obviously is probably somebody they're considering. So I don't know. I think that any of these European names that have been bandied around are not necessarily that serious. Some of the names may just be coming up because of the last search we had, like Messina. I don't know if we're actually interviewing Messina this time around. I know we did when we hired Nick Nurse. but I don't know if we're actually interviewing him. We probably will check on Sergio and just call him and say, "Hey, Sergio, how are things going over there with Spanish national team and blah 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 and this and this? Oh, things are great. Yeah, Messiah. Yeah, you say you want to come and coach the Raptors? I don't know. I don't think he. Maybe he would come back and coach still. I don't know, and I don't know if Sergio's the right guy. I mean, he's awesome in a lot of ways. You might be right. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to see who Messiah and Bobby pick. It's gonna be fun. Mike saying, example, Siakam unlocked 28% with his second team. If he got MVP or first team, he would have unlocked 30%. The next contract scales up 5. Okay. So that's how it works. It's really kind of how he gets the accolades, and each one gets a tick of like 5% more on top. Okay. Nako's saying, for me, Jokic is just such a good all-around offensive player. His defense is fine, but what he's able to do for his size is pretty impressive. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he is in the same kind of like company as like Arvydas Sabonis, Bill Walton, Vlade Divac. There's like all these really great passing big men in the history of the NBA, and he is that kind of ilk. And yeah. I mean, he's a great player. I don't have any problem saying good things about Jokic. I don't have any problem saying good things about Embiid though this year also. Embiid had a really good year too. It's just so close in some ways. Infamous is saying, quick fun trivia. Who is the only Raptor player to play a full 82 game season? That's a lot of different players. Are you talking about just this season? You're talking about this year, because there's a lot of players that played the full 82 game season throughout the history of the Raptors. Infamous. You're gonna have to elaborate. You're talking about this past season. If you're talking about this past season, I don't know if any of our guys actually played the whole 82. If anybody did, it was Chris. It would be Chris Boucher, I think, that played all 82 games for the Raptors, but I may not have. For some reason, I think he may have been benched a couple of games and didn't actually even play in some of them. But I don't think anybody in our team played all 82 this season. I think Scotty had the most, maybe, and he had like 75 games or 70 something. MSJ saying at Mike, well, no money issues for him then. And Lex, Mark Jackson is a fool. He had Donovan Mitchell placed for 5th and for MVP and no Jokic. What the hell is that? A total joke take, idiocy. That's fine. Let him be an idiot. It's your right. You have so many voters. You have like 100 voters. There needs to be a little bit of a weird idiocy in it. I have no problem with this. I have more of a problem with people shaming him for it. Let him have his opinions. It is what it is. I think he really did make a mistake, and he just didn't think about him. I don't know. Some of the Nuggets fans are saying Mark Jackson shouldn't be calling the games. He's so biased against Nikola Jokic. It's obvious. Get over yourselves. We have people that are biased against the Raptors call our games regularly, Nuggets fans. So why does it matter if the person's biased against the team? I've never heard that where like Nuggets fans are calling that Mark Jackson shouldn't be allowed to call the games because he's obviously biased against Nikola Jokic. These announcers don't really have any sway on how the game goes. You just have to hear them. If you don't like what they're saying, turn the volume down. That is quite often what a Raptor fan has to do when they're listening to U.S. media call our games. Trust me. So yeah, I'd be more worried about the refs don't like Jokic than Mark Jackson. How about that? Yeah. So I get what y'all are saying. He is a fool in some ways. Sure. All right. We'll just come down on him for having his own opinion. But I still don't like it. I don't like shaming people if they just want to be a little different. There's nothing wrong with that. He could have had that vote. It's not going to hurt anything. It really changed the results. So it's like, whatever. Get over yourself. Charles Barkley with calling him a fool. Let him do his thing. If he wants to be a fool, let him be a fool. Let him be an idiot. Dr. Good Vibes is saying Pascal should be all NBA for sure. At least third team. OG all defensive is well deserved. All right, let me do the defensive teams now. Going back to the spreadsheet again. I've made the teams a little bit different. Once again, I have to exclude some people from the defensive team because they didn't make enough games. Jaren Jackson being the singular one, like he's the defensive player of the year. But honestly, this dude only played like 60 games this season. So in some ways, I'm excluding him all around. I don't even consider him the defensive player of the year. If I'm going to pick a defensive player of the year, I'm going to pick OG. I'm going to say OG should have been defensive player of the year. And my first team all defensive is Drew Holiday. I kept him because he made the threshold, and I feel like he is very much a good defender. I mean, people talk about how he's annoying and he's all over the place. So I'm keeping him on the first team still in his spot. And Alex Caruso's there still too. So I didn't really mess with them. I will respect that Alex Caruso is a defensive force. We saw when he was hurt the year before how much it hurt the Bulls and the way they played. So I will respect that. Now instead of Jaren Jackson at center, I've got Brook Lopez on the first team. And you know why I'm putting Brook Lopez there is because he led the league in blocks. And you got to respect that. And he really was a defensive presence. Even if I hate him, I have to give him some shine. If I'm going to exclude Giannis Antetokounmpo from the All NBA stuff, I got to get the Bucks somehow. So I'm going to give them 2 All First defensive team, Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez, because I feel like they do deserve it, and they deserve their berths on the All Defensive team for real. Now the forwards are totally different. On the other team, they got Evan Mobley and Brook Lopez at forward there. I just switched forward to Brook Lopez to center, and Jaren Jackson and Evan Mobley are out. I'm not even considering Evan Mobley. I'm sorry. Him and Jared Allen confuse things too much. I don't know with the numbers. He has good numbers because he's playing off of Jared Allen or Jared Allen, whatever. But Evan Mobley, I'm not even considering you. Donovan Mitchell on the All-NBA team is my representative for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not giving them anything else. They get Donovan, that's it. Now, as far as the 2 guys that I put in the first team are OG and Draymond Green. I think Draymond really is one of the best defensive players in the league, and he deserves to be on second team. Well, why not? Let's move him up to first team. I got to snub Steph because he didn't play enough games. We'll give Draymond all defensive first team, and that'll be fine. So my first team all defensive is Drew Holiday, Alex Caruso, Brook Lopez, OG Anunoby, and Draymond Green. And if I got to pick the defensive player of the year over again, it would be OG. It just would be. I'm sorry. Jaren Jackson's fine, but he didn't play enough games. I'm not even considering him. Now, my second team's even more interesting because I had to cut a couple of these guys that made it that I don't really like and shouldn't have been on there, like Derek White. I was like, why is Derek White on here? This is BS. So, and then, also I cut Mobley and Jaren Jackson. So we have a couple of new names on the list that I felt like were snubbed from all defensive. Now I kept Dillon Brooks because I do respect Dillon Brooks' defense. And I'm like, you know what? Screw those guys. I'm going to keep Dillon Brooks on there. I won't take him out. But I added Fred VanVleet. That's right. Fred VanVleet was 3rd in the league in steals behind OG. And I really feel like he needs to get more credit for his defensive abilities. So I'm bringing Fred in and putting him on the second team, all defensive. Now that make Fred haters' heads explode. And they're like, how the hell can you pick him for all defensive? He's a horrible defender, but that's not true. He's actually one of the best defenders in the league, and that's why I'm giving him this shine. Now at center, backup center for all defensive second team, Nicholas Claxton. I really do feel like he did not get any awards this year. He should have. In fact, I'm putting 2 nets on this team, him and Bridges. And Bridges is partly because of his work in Phoenix also. He's a very underrated defensive player, and people don't talk enough about him. So I'm putting the 2 nets on there instead of guys like Mobley, Jaren Jackson, and who was the other guy I kicked off the team? The other person is Derek White. Yeah, I kicked those guys off. I put those guys on. And I like Bam Adebayo on the defensive team still too, because he is really a huge part of the defense in Miami. Without him, they are horrible on defense. Trust me. They really need Bam Adebayo. I could have put Bam on the All-NBA team, and I did at first, but I was like, you know what? Let's put Jimmy up there, and we'll have Bam on the All-Defensive team. So there you go. Those are the Raptor Freak choices for All-NBA and All-Defensive teams. You know, All-Defensive team, Drew Holiday, Alex Caruso, Brook Lopez, OG Anunoby, Draymond Green. And then the second team, Dillon Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Nicholas Claxton, Bam Adebayo, and Mikal Bridges. That is my picks for those, including some guys that didn't get any shine that should have, like Claxton, Bridges, DeMar DeRozan, Lauri Markkanen, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, and Pascal Siakam, all added on by me against what they picked. So let's see. No. Let me see where I'm at in the comments with you guys. Mike is saying awards unlock higher percentage maxes before the years of service make them open. 3 to 5 years, 25%, 6 to 9 years, 30%, and 10 plus years is 35%. To get over those numbers, you need certain awards. There we go. If Siakam didn't make those awards this year, well, they can't give him as much money this summer, and maybe he will put off extending. Wayne saying, big up, Raptors Freak. Blasphemy again, but I'm for a conference final. If Celtics versus Heat, my concern is for the health of Jimmy and Kyle over so many games. Prefer the Heat. They're established already. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Seriously, if it's going to be the Celtics and the Heat, I'm totally going for the Heat. Oh my gosh. Yes, I am. I am for sure. I will every step of the way. Whoever's against Boston, I'm rooting for them. So come on, Sixers, finish the job. Get the job done in Boston. I guess the game will be on Saturday. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Raptors, Masai, and Bobby went to Spain, Italy to interview Sergio for the head coaching position. I hope he comes back. They went there to actually interview him. You heard that somewhere? That's interesting. All right, well, that's good. I'm glad they are going to talk to Sergio. Why'd they have to go all the way over there? Couldn't they just like meet with him on FaceTime or something? Maybe they just wanted to go. Maybe, yeah, we need to go interview Sergio. Yeah, let's go take a European vacation. We just need a little break. Yeah, maybe that is why they went. Nako saying loved Aiton in that finals run, has kind of regressed since. Chris Paul also regressed. Mikhail was such a defensive presence. Not sure if they get further without the Durant trade, though. I don't know. You can say woulda, coulda, shoulda. In some ways, the Suns were already on their way, and they didn't need to make the Durant trade. That they could have gone. Maybe they would have been better defensively without making that trade, with Bridges still being there and the other guys fleshing them out. There's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda there. Matasheba made some big moves really quickly when he took ownership of the team, and getting that Durant deal was one of them. But maybe in some ways it was folly. It wasn't smart. In some ways, maybe Durant is not going to be in Phoenix for long. This team may have a lot of turnover already really quick. It could be very similar to the Kyrie situation in Dallas. These guys come and play just a really little half season, and then they're gone, and they're on to another team already. We'll have to see how this all goes. We'll have to see what Phoenix's intentions are with what their players and stuff. Ayton is out the door. I'm pretty positive that he will not be in their uniform next year. I was thinking that last summer, and they went the whole year with him, and they still have the same problems. So they're definitely going to move him this year. Definitely going to move him. I'm not interested in him. And honestly, his stock to me has dropped just in like the things that I know more about his personality and how he's dealt with the playoffs, the fighting with Monty Williams, the giving up on the team. He's not attractive as a player to want on your team. Because in a lot of ways, we care about winning. Well, we see what happens when teams are in their bad place, and we see how guys react. Well, we can't count on them. And Ayton is in that category at this point. Dr. Good Vibes is saying Pirtle over Ayton going forward. This past season was Ayton. With Ayton would have been fine, but now Pirtle is the man, 100%. 100% Dr. Good Vibes. And Jakob Pirtle is that Pirtle sunshine. He has the good vibes. In some ways, Ayton does not have good vibes. And, you could discern this in diagnosis. If you had them come down to your practice, you could say, okay, Pirtle, yeah, this guy has great vibes, very strong vibes. And then you saw DeAndre, you'd be like, ooh, this guy's vibes are a little off. Nameless is saying it's exactly right. We just saved $100 million for Siakam, and obviously he resigns. He's the real lifer. I hope that's right. Hopefully he just does the contract this summer. I mean, it's what are we quibbling about? $5 million? I mean, it's a lot to everybody else, but to him in his situation, is it a lot in some ways? I don't know. We'll have to see how this all goes. We'll just react and see how it all lays out, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully things all work out for the Raptors this summer as far as their head coach decision and any personnel moves. Wayne saying, don't want LeBron, don't like Jovic, even though Jamal Murray is our son. Warriors, don't dislike anybody per se. Celtics, no. Don't want dynasty building. Sixers, hell no. Miami, okay. Miami versus Warriors. Okay. So you don't like Jokic. So that's why you discount Denver. See, for me, Denver Nuggets have never, ever won an NBA championship. They won some ABA championships when they were still in the ABA in the 70s. Denver Nuggets with David Thompson were winning championships back then, but they've never, ever won in the NBA, technically. And they haven't really gotten far enough to get really the chance. I don't even know if they've been in the finals. So this will be a really big deal if they're able to get past the next round and get to the finals. If Denver in the finals is going to be a big deal because I don't think we've ever seen it. So that'll be pretty interesting. I'm interested in that. I'll go for the Miami Heat are probably the more attractive team. I know the Knicks aren't probably going to get past the Heat. In fact, I'll bet you that Miami Heat will put the Knicks out tonight. And the Miami Heat will be in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they are the team I will be rooting for, regardless of who beats who in the Game 7 between Philly and Boston. So, Infamous is saying answer. It was Jakob 2016, 2017. Are you saying that's the last person to do it? Because there's been so many guys that have played 82 games in the whole season. You think that's the last person that actually played all 82 games? I don't know if that's correct. I think the other guys have played all 82 games of the season since then. In fact, I'm trying to think. I can think of one off the top of my head. It's like it's is it Chris? It's not Chris. Somebody has done it in the last two or 3 years. Played all 82. I'll have to look at that, Infamous. Tuesday is trivia day. Isaac saying Patrick Mutombo is now out of the playoffs with the Suns. Number 1, Hammond. Number 2, Mutombo. Number 3, Sergio are your top 3. All right, Isaac, that's not a bad top 3. I really definitely like Becky. The other 2, I'm not bad. I mean, they'd be good culture fits, obviously, but I'm also, I don't know, Sergio I'd feel more comfortable with than Mutombo in some ways, but in some ways, Mutombo is exactly what we need also. I can't disagree with these. If they pick one of these 3 names, it'll be for a good reason, and I'll get behind it. Now, my 3 are different. My 3 are Hammond, Stackhouse, and Budenholzer. I just want one of the 3 absolute best candidates, and I really do feel like those 3 are the absolute best 3 candidates. Cool Cat saying Pascal should not extend this year. Try for the max contract. His rookie to 4th-year contract was very low, 1 to 2 million plus some bonuses. He got his big contract in 2020 Tampa year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It may be logically smart for him to hold off on extending with us this summer, but then it's going to cause all kinds of confusion and maybe people speculating on whether he's going to re-sign with us for next summer or not, when he's absolutely going to need a contract for sure. That's the thing. That's part of the thing that happened with Nick Nurse just now. It's like the lame duck period of being on the last year contract is dangerous with today's social media and media speculation and all the dumb stuff that people write. In some ways, you want to lock people up ahead of time, especially if they are seriously a part of your long-term plans. And, that's part of the reason why if we were going to keep Nick Nurse and not fire him, we needed to get him on a new contract this summer instead of him being on the last year of his contract, and everybody would talk about it all season long. So there's partly that is part of the whole mechanism of this thing with Siakam that we're going to have to look and see how this happens. If he does refuse and doesn't do any kind of extension this summer, then we got to get used to a year of speculation on what he's going to do when the year's up. And that's going to be annoying. Trust me. Mike's saying Mark Jackson hates the Nuggets. He was blackballed for saying the Nuggets were targeting Curry's ankles a lot and was pushed out. I would hate the Nuggets too, I guess. Well, that's his reasoning. I mean, there's grudges in this league. There's people that don't like each other. There's people that do each other wrong. Scott Foster and Chris Paul may be the most famous one of these. Well, Chris Paul is out once again. Scott Foster is smiling today as he goes to call the game at Miami today, smiling that his old nemesis, Chris Paul, has been eliminated again in his 18th year in the season. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. And Scott didn't even have to have any of his hands and fingerprints on it. In fact, he added more the other way to make it show that he isn't against him. By the only game he refereed with Chris Paul involved in the Phoenix Suns, they won. So that he broke that streak of Chris Paul being defeated every time that Scott Foster is present as a ref. Well, that streak was broken. And he won with Scott Foster as a ref in these playoffs. So they can start saying things like that's not true. Scott Foster doesn't have a vendetta against Chris Paul. The last time they played, they won. That's one time out of like 15 games that Chris Paul won with Scott Foster as a ref. 1 out of like 1 in 14 or something like that. It's crazy. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, that's a good point, Logical Raptors fanatic, about Mark Jackson's history as the coach of the Golden State Warriors and some controversy from back then. Maybe there is a grudge with the Nuggets franchise in particular. Whatever. These people have grudges against us and some of them for some reason. And they call our games all screwy down there. Trust me. So whatever. Let them call the games and be anti-Nuggets. It's fun. Nameless is saying if Pascal can improve his clutch factor, which absolutely can be done, he's suddenly in a different tier of player. Yeah, that's what he kind of probably hoped for this year. He's talking about being a top 5 player at the beginning of the season. Then we had to temper it. Top 10, maybe. Top 15. Okay, top 15. We'll take that. I agree with this. If he can just show more aptitude at the end of the game, but let's think about this. What if a new coach comes in and puts him in better situations and plays to be successful as a clutch player at the end of the game, and all of a sudden we do see him hitting big shots and taking us home to victories with successful like execution at the end of the game? That partly he has to be set up to execute successfully by the coach, drawing up the right scheme and getting him the right position, the right place. That could have a huge factor in whether Siakam looks more clutch this season or not. The coach sets him up for success. MSJ saying Donovan Mitchell, and you forget Jokic, literally impossible. I'm not shaming him or anything, but my God, how can you forget a guy averaging a triple double? Jackson is lying, which makes it worse. Well, look at Mike's comment, MSJ, what he just said. He has a grudge against the Nuggets franchise, and that's probably part of why he accidentally overlooked him. Accidentally. Yeah, yeah. He may be lying too. It is all what it is. I mean, Mark Jackson's a controversial guy. Some people were saying, why don't we hire him for our head coach? And I went and researched and I found out why, because it's not a good idea. Trust me. There's a reason why he's not coaching and he's announcing. And petty grudges and things like this and homophobia are some of the reasons. So, Canadian Cowboys here saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Bam, bam, bam to Bradley. Can't believe that Pascal didn't get anything, but not shocked. The NBA doesn't respect us. They will next season when we win it all. Let's go. You go, Bradley. Be safe out there. Ta-da! They can help you out. It's the springtime. You may have some spring cleaning. You may have some jobs you need done around the house. If it's hard for you to get some of these jobs done, if you're by yourself or you're just not strong enough, call Ta-da. They're in the phone book. They can come and help you with all kinds of odd jobs around your house, whether it's washing your windows, cleaning your carpets, moving large, heavy objects. Canadian Cowboy will come to your house and help you. Ta-da is in the phone book. Look them up. Yeah. Logical saying, I'm going to go deep on the Siakam extension this summer. I will find the answers to the questions. This is a vow by Mike. I will find the answers to the questions. We look forward to that content coming out, Mike, and thank you for keeping us informed on the situation with Pascal's extension and his contract. Thank you for doing this work I don't want to do because I don't like getting bogged down in numbers like that. Yeah, I'll get bogged down in stats, but not in numbers like cash money. Yeah. Monique is saying social media watch. Thad has officially started his camps in Memphis. All right, let me go look at Instagram. We get our Instagram check and see what the Raptors are doing on their social media right now. Yes, Thad Young is doing his youth camps in Memphis, which is fantastic. Casey Bannerman has a brand new jersey that's coming out today commemorating SGA being first team All NBA. It's a Canada jersey. It's really beautiful. It looks like a maple leaf, but it also looks like a crown. It's the number 2, and it's a limited edition. So if you guys like Casey Bannerman's limited edition jerseys, and you like SGA, and you like Canada, you may like this new jersey. It looks really, really sharp. I really like he has an off-white instead of just a regular white. Just a really cool design. Always got good stuff coming out from Casey. Casey's been very prolific this season with all kinds of really cool designs for different players all season long. So you go, Casey Bannerman. And honestly, that jersey for SGA looks like it could be Team Canada's jerseys for when they play this summer in some of their international play. I don't understand why somebody hasn't snatched up this guy, Casey Bannerman, and made him make the city edition jerseys for Raptors or just some team somewhere. Maybe he could make some CBL jerseys for somebody, but this dude is talented and his jerseys are awesome. So do it. Just do it. Somebody hire him. All right, Ron Harper is on his social media running backwards, doing drills, he's doing the Vince Carter between the legs jam. So Ron's showing some athleticism on his social media on Instagram. He's working out with the big ball. He's working hard. He's throwing it down. He's at game face training. And then Scotty had a couple of posts yesterday. He's got a little picture of him looking in the camera, looking fierce. It looks like he's still in Florida, guys. still around Palm Beach. Then there's a picture of him with the ball. I think he's with Brian Macon working out. Oh, and there's Cardi. There's a beautiful picture of Cardi. We love you, Cardi. I'm just going to heart that picture real quick. Yeah, Scotty working out with Brian Macon currently right now. So there's your social media Raptors check on what they're doing online from there right now. So that's what I see is Scotty with his dog and working out with Brian Macon. Cool stuff. MSJ saying all defensive NBA, Holiday, OG, Jaren Jackson, Dylan Green, and Dylan D Green. Oh, Draymond Green, and Brooke Lopez. Okay, so you're keeping Jackson in there. That's really the only big difference with my team is you're keeping Jackson in there and kicking Caruso out. Caruso out. Yeah, all right. That's not a bad team, MSJ. All right, let's see. Shere Khan's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Real pathetic showing by Phoenix last night. Stopped watching when Denver went on a run at the end of the first quarter. The game was over at halftime. Rest of the way, it was garbage time. This team is done. Yeah, Shere Khan. There's a lot of disarray in Phoenix. The new owner is going to have some work to do now in the offseason. Something I heard that I'm really upset about is the judge in Phoenix is blocking his ability to show the games for free on regular TV. I hate this kind of stuff. Like they're saying that this bankrupt company that used to show the Phoenix Suns games, Diamond Sports or whatever, still has the rights to the games. So they're blocking the Phoenix Suns from being able to show them on free television. That's BS. Well, they don't have any games right now. Get this stuff fixed this summer, and hopefully that contract will expire with Diamond Sports and free up the Suns organization to broadcast the games the way they want to. Because this sounds silly. Judge, you're overstepping. That company is bankrupt. What the hell are they going to do with those rights? So just free the rights up and let the owner of that team do what he wants to do with his team. That's what I'm saying right there. All right, let's keep going. Dr. Good Vibes is saying, I agree. OG should have won Defensive Player of the Year and on defensive team, first team. But some of those guys should not be on the defensive first team for sure. I agree with your lineups, including Fred VanVleet. Awesome, Dr. Good Vibes. I agree with you. Yeah, see, I'm saying if they're going to start doing this 65-game plateau that you have to reach to be able to be considered for any of these awards, there's a lot of guys that won awards this year. They're not going to win awards next year. And that's just how it is. I like this trend. This really is a good carrot to put in front of them to dangle to make sure that these guys actually get playing all the time and play as often as they can. Mike's saying Ayton just isn't really a guy. Pirtle is a guy that can play his role well. Okay, he's not a guy. Ayton is just not really a guy. Yeah, I'd much rather have Pirtle over Ayton. He's a better culture fit. He's just a better teammate. He just seems like a better person in certain ways as far as like, being on a team and how he works with the coach and teammates and stuff. In some ways, Ayton seems like he's kind of separated himself from the Suns in certain ways where he's not connected to them in the right kind of ways. And that's worrisome. And then also last night, apparently Devin Booker did not do media after the game. He pulled a Dylan Brooks and ran out the building before they even asked him any questions. He's got to feel really upset because he had such a historic kind of great playoff performance most of these playoffs. And now he's out like this. He's probably really pissed off because honestly, he worked so hard and he looked so good himself. But the rest of the team didn't step up in the right ways with him. And that's too bad. That's just how it is sometimes. Infamous is saying Ayton is a good player. He's not being used right by Monty. When he goes to another team, he'll be fully unlocked. Well, that could be very well true. It could be that Monty Williams just does not go well with Ayton, and he does blossom and go somewhere. But there are certain signs that Ayton's character just does not survive the pressurized environment of the playoffs. That, it could be any kind of coach in any kind of situation. Is he going to give up in other situations also? That's what you got to worry about. He could be not like that, and he does find the right coach and the right fit, and everything's fine. But the risk and the track record is there. And that's why it's not totally attractive to a lot of teams if they're trying to build towards a championship. He's not a championship piece like Jakob Pertl is to Masai Ujiri. That's what some people may be labeling him. He's like, he's not a championship piece. He just doesn't have what it takes in the high pressure playoff situations. Because that you could give him that label. He has not shown up in this series against Denver. He did not at all. And I don't care if he's playing against Jokic, one of the best players in the league. He needs to show up and do his stuff too, regardless. All right, let's keep going. Mike's saying, I want to see Murray get shine. He's been a good player, but the West was tougher. I would like him to get that Wiggins shine where it verified Wiggins as a real good player. Canadian baller's been up. I like this whole idea too. And if the Nuggets get really far and win the championship, Jamal Murray is going to get some shine for sure. And it may very be similar to how Andrew Wiggins did. In fact, he could be like one of the guys who's kind of like the MVP of the finals if he hits some huge shots. Jamal Murray goes out there and gets a 50-point game in like game 5 of the finals and they win. That's a huge deal. And he could be finals MVP all of a sudden. Forget about Jokic. Jokic probably would win MVP, but maybe not. I mean, Jamal Murray could actually steal finals MVP from Jokic if the Nuggets win the championship. So there's a lot of interesting things that could happen with this. And I'm all for Jamal Murray getting more shine and more accolades as a great Canadian player. Mugarbe Lennon's here. Good to see Mugarbe. Good morning, Raptors freaks. Pascal should take the max. Don't leave money. Anything can happen. You think he should just go ahead and do it this year at the rate he's at? Because listen, there's no guarantees for next season. In some ways, you want to lock in and get what you can get at what time. You just missed out on that boat right now. I don't know. This will be very telling how Pascal deals with this whole situation about what his motives are as far as what matters to him the most. If just a little bit more money matters to him, then he will hold out. If it doesn't, and he does take it, I'll be like, yes, Siakam doesn't give a shit about the money to that point. He's going to get money regardless. I don't know. We'll have to see how he reacts with this. And the fact that he didn't get all NBA, it makes it a little more difficult in some ways to do his extension this summer. Trevor's saying, good morning. The Phoenix Suns choked last night. For sure, they choked. Oh, yeah, they did. And it's just how it is. It happens. Cool Cat is saying that, hang on, for the amount of slander Pascal receives in his career, he should put his and his family first. Every year he gets slander for any mistake. Best to make a business decision. I mean, I can get behind that, and I don't fault people for that. But some people, like Fred said, it's not always the money. It's the things that you can't buy with money that matter the most. Fred's saying that this week, and we'll have to see if this matters, like how much it matters. I mean, the dude's got generational wealth for sure already. He's going to get more generational wealth. It's just a matter of like a couple of, zeros or money or whatever. I don't know. And we'll have to see. This will be telling in some ways about Siakam and what is important to him. I won't fault them for wanting to get as much money from them. If that's a strategic decision, he doesn't want to do the extension this summer because he knows he can get more next summer. If he has to do it that way, so be it. But, it is what it is. Cowboys saying Chris Paul should be going to the Raptors, a win next year with us. That's an interesting idea. Bringing Chris Paul here, that would be really weird. It'd be kind of like bringing Western Lowry over to us. I mean, I'm not totally against it. I love Chris Paul. He's a very much one of my favorite players for a long, long time. I've liked Chris Paul for a long, long time. But in some ways, he may be having some baggage. He's kind of like really getting near the end of his career. I don't know. Is he a need that we really need? Like, is he going to fill the shooting issues that we have? Is he going to fill some of the point guard stuff? For sure. But I don't know if he'll fill the shooting issues the right way for us. Isaac saying Pascal will be all NBA next year. OG all defensive first team and SB for an all-star. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I love those predictions. We can have a great season next year. Our Raptors need to get awards in different places like this. I think that you're right, Isaac. I'd love to see these guys get all of what you just said. Mike's saying, not gonna lie, at the moment I think Siakam still makes the same money he would if he got second all NBA. He's unlocked that tier already. It only takes one award to unlock it for the whole career. I'll confirm this though. Okay. Now the press, for some reason, they're saying it mattered whether he got all NBA or not. Like Lewinberg and them are saying the fact that Siakam didn't get all NBA does matter with the money. So I'm not sure if you're exactly right, Mike, but I'd love for you to be right because he got all NBA last year. He's already unlocked it and it doesn't matter. But that's not what they've been saying this year, Mike. They've been saying he still needed to get an all-NBA this year to unlock a certain tier of payment that he can get. So Coolcast saying, I would like Murray and Jokic to get a ring this year. They have been laughed at by NBA analysts. Honestly, a lot of people didn't take them seriously this whole year. And in some ways, people don't still. It's partly the history of the Nuggets franchise and their futility in getting far in the playoffs. Well, buck that trend and fix it this year, Jokic and Murray, and get the Nuggets their first ever NBA championship. I'm all for that too, Cool Cat. I think we can root for the Nuggets this year. I think we can. Trevor's saying Philadelphia sucks. I know one thing for somebody. Josie is getting burned. Josie, he means Joel. Boston or Philadelphia, one of the two. Yeah, well, that's the great thing about this Game 7 tomorrow with the Celtics and the Sixers. Somebody's going to get disappointed. Somebody's going to be feeling bad. Somebody's going to have to lose. So we'll have to see who it is. Tom Duke is in the house. West Coast Raptor Freak Tom Duke is in the house. Scotty Barnes, Twitch Family 2022. Do I want one of the smart towels or a Bannerman jersey or a Tada to come to sort my life out? You sell great products. TGIF, Lex. Maybe I should be on an infomercial. Yeah, I could have been Smart Towel, the TG 400. It will buff your car windows. It will buff your car lights. It'll buff your hubcaps. It'll buff your tires. Its powerful adhesive coating will make your car shine and sparkle like a beautiful day on a beach. Yes. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe I should have been on QVC or late night television. Tom Duke, thank you for the vote of confidence on my selling skills. That's right. Logical saying 10-year anniversary Casey Bannerman 2019 championship collection would be fire. Every player gets that year's jersey with them on it. A charity auction off would be epic, not gonna lie. This dude has some power, seriously. Casey Bannerman, you could do some charity auctions. You could make some crazy stuff like this. Oh my gosh. There's another artist that I really, really love is Drake Serial. Drake Serial did the piece that I have on the other wall with all the heads from the championship year. She is amazing. In fact, she's going to the game tomorrow for WNBA, and she's created these pants that she's going to be wearing at the game that she painted all these cool little things and sayings about the WNBA on her pants. And she's really proud of her WNBA pants that she's going to be wearing at the WNBA game tomorrow. So two artists to really watch out for around the Raptors, Drake Serial and Casey Bannerman. Yes, Casey Bannerman. I would love that jersey. 10-year anniversary 2019 jersey. Woo, yeah, I like that. Sheer Khan saying, with Spicy not making the All-NBA, the Raptors have a better chance of keeping the crew together. Still need that number one, though. OG needs to become a better ball handler to get a massive deal if same lineup is back. Well, OG is also in the group that could be extended this summer. They could do a reworking of his contract to keep him for longer years past what he's currently on. So he's actually him, Fred, Pascal. They can all get redone right now this summer coming up. So we'll have to see how that goes. Cowboys saying, laughing out loud at Tom Dukes, I think Banton and Harper Jr. are going to take a big step forward on their games. Hopefully our new coach give them more playing time. Yes, I'd love to see more Delano and Ron Harper Jr. next season. Jeffrey Doughton Jr. also. Coloco, there's another one. Tom Duke saying, bam, ta-da, bam. Monica's saying, W Stream Lex, all around as usual. Hope everyone enjoys the game tonight. Support the ladies. Go Raptors. Always good days ahead. So excited. Yeah. Well, that game tomorrow at 4 o'clock at the Scotiabank Arena and WNBA, Minnesota Lynx, Chicago Sky. It will be a good game, a good matchup. I'm not going to be going. I thought I might go down there and go to the game, but I'm not going to. I really don't have the money to spend, and I'm kind of be busy tomorrow. But I will definitely want to try and be there for the first ever not exhibition game for WNBA history. This will be the first WNBA game in Canada exhibition, but in some ways I want to go to the first ever regular season WNBA game when we actually get a team. So, but this is going to be a good event, and I'm glad there's so much going on all around. There's the 12-foot statue, as we talked about. It's down at CN Tower today and tomorrow. It'll be at the arena, so people can go down there and sign it and be a part of history. Put your name on that 12-foot WNBA statue. And then there's players that are going to be around town today at different sporting goods stores signing autographs. Different WNBA players are in different locations, actually. There's a few of them around today. So this afternoon, you can go meet WNBA stars, I think at Sports Check or someplace like that, somewhere downtown. I don't have the information exactly. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Pascal learned from Kyle Lowry. He wanted the extra $30 million for generational wealth and moved on to Miami. Learn from DeMar, you can be traded off while trying to give the team a discount. That's true. He's seen the different lessons from different people ahead of him. And he understands how it goes. In some ways, Siakam is getting near that age that when DeMar got traded like he did from us. So, yeah, he could be a little wary of all this. I think you're right. Paul's saying, I have no problem with the Nuggets winning. They are built well. Yeah. Yeah. I like seeing teams that haven't had the chance to win like this get it finally. And in some ways, I want to see the Nuggets get their shine this year. It'll be nice to see. Hopefully, they can get there. We'll see. We'll see. They're in the Western Conference Finals. They got to wait and see who wins this Lakers Warriors, and then hopefully we can get past them, and they'll be the Western Conference team in the finals. That is a great team to be in the finals for me. I don't want the Lakers, the Warriors in the finals. Neither one of them. So Nuggets, just do it. Monique saying, miss the chapters, Tom, but we know you're busy and taking a break at the same time. Be well, Tom. Monique's bringing up the chapters. Well, it's summer. Tom can take time off. And it's not like this, during the regular seasons is different because there's different segments. They're pretty well delineated in certain ways. And this is kind of just haphazard, go at it, mismatch. So it's like to cut this up into little sections, it's not necessary. I appreciate all the work Tom has done. It's just been volunteer, and I really, really appreciate it. And so I can't be mad if he's not doing chapters right now. It's not a big deal either way. I do really enjoy when he does do it, and it is very helpful, but it's not necessary. And it's not like I'm going to get mad at Tom because he didn't do it. So I appreciate you, Tom, for everything you do. And I still want to come and see you this summer, brother. I want to come out there. Seriously, I'm going to try and get out there either at the end of July or beginning of August. And maybe we'll see some more Raptor Freak streams in BC with me and Tom hosting them together. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I got to come out there and work for Tom for a week or so or something like that. I mean, he's going to put me to work in the yard. I'm serious. I'm all about that. Mike is saying, I'm going to look into it. It could be a certain number of awards for the contract after the designated rookie extension. The rookie one works in the way I said, and the max caps are what I said they were. Okay. All right, Mike, you figure it all out and come back and either report to us or put it in your stuff so we can watch it there. I'm important. It's important what you're doing. And I think it's really awesome that you kind of make it clear for some people that just don't want to get into the crap, the minutia, the really, you can make it easier for people to understand. That's what I'm saying. Tom Duke's saying he's so freaking busy. It's the season. He's in the spring. And he works in landscape stuff. Like he's doing he's crafting people's beautiful yards. And this is the go time. He's got to go. That's why Tom's going, because he's got to go. MSJ saying, I'm going to say that Denver will win it all. But all that said, I really hope the Raps have a productive offseason. Stackhouse. And thanks everyone here. It makes a great way to have a morning coffee, Lex. No problem, MSJ. It's my pleasure. And your contributions have been fantastic consistently for like the whole time you've been coming to these streams. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy my streams and that like you guys like the regularity. And also the fact that we can get an outlet to talk about Raptors when they're not really in the spotlight. Nobody's talking about them. We're still on top of them and talking about them. That's important. In some ways, the landscape of the NBA is 365 days a year. And there's always stuff going on with your franchise that's important to kind of keep up on. And that's why we're here every day, 9:30. Fiercely saying, do you think this WNBA game will impact in the sense of creating a team in Toronto? Well, this is what I'm going to say right now, Fiercely. The way that they're doing this weekend is very different. In fact, listen, there's a short list of teams that they really want to look into expanding to cities. And we're on that short list. In fact, we may be number one on that list. I think that it's a slam dunk that we're going to get a team. It helps the WNBA say now we're an international league because we have another country that has a team in the league. So I think it's a slam dunk. We're going to get a team. And all signs are pointing to this. The fact that they're rolling out the red carpet in all kinds of different ways this weekend with all these different events, the fact that they're making a really big deal out of this game really does signal that they are serious about giving us a franchise and that we will be having a WNBA team in the near future. So I think it's a done deal. I think it's just unspoken and it's already understood. It's not officially announced. But this weekend is going to go super well, and it's going to really solidify it. Like tomorrow, they're going to have a packed house. They're going to have one of the best crowds ever for a WNBA game, whether it's exhibition or regular season. And they're going to see the power of the Raptors and the Toronto economic base of fans. They're going to see how much support we can come and give them and how it could be very enthusiastic. And this is the kind of stuff they're looking for, is pumping in enthusiasm and attention. to the WNBA. Things like Brittany Griner, things like the end of the women's tournament recently have brought a spotlight onto the WNBA more in recent years. They want to catch this inertia and really push with it. Well, you get a really, really enthusiastic, rabid for basketball Canada crowd in Toronto. That's a slam dunk, and you want to get that inertia into it all too. So I think it's a done deal. It's just not officially said, and it probably may happen just after we have this weekend. And people are going to say, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic. I can't believe how well Toronto went this weekend. They have to get a WNBA team." And I think that's what's going to happen. I really do. I think that it's already kind of they figured this already. Like they're already doing all the looking into it and stuff. And they're like, well, what are the costs of having to be across the border and doing all this? This is going to hurt the bottom line for the WNBA. They're probably looking at it and they're like, holy crap, actually, this will actually help things and make things even better. So I think it's a done deal. It's just they got to officially announce it. They got to go through the event and see if it does go off without a hitch and it's very successful. And then boom, we could hear about it as soon as next week. It could be as soon as next week. Well, fantastic game this weekend, WNBA preseason game. They are going to get a team next year. Toronto has a WNBA franchise awarded to them. So we could hear that as soon as next week. Seriously. Mike's saying Siakam can make a 30% max already. It's about the extra 1 to 5% from awards. I got to check requirements for the percentages in the second max extension. All right, Mike. I trust you're going to get this right and let us know. And Paul B saying, happy 4-year anniversary of Kawhi's shot. I like to see those red and white earned jerseys we won the title in and wore during Bucks Game 5 as a normal jersey we wear. In some ways, I know why they're not using that red and white chevron. That's such a Canadian looking jersey. I love that jersey so much. It's my favorite jersey in the history of the Raptors. That earned jersey. Well, in some ways, it's earned. And in some ways, maybe we don't want to wear it. And maybe we wear it on what we do? We wear it on the anniversary of the win. Like maybe in the 10-year anniversary from the 2019 championship, we wear the earned jerseys from time to time during that season. But I don't think they should be regular. They need to be very special. And they need to be very much associated with our championship from 2019. So I'm glad that they didn't continue that jersey. I was mad at first. I was like, man, because we won so well in them. We have such a good record in those jerseys. But then I was like, also, you know what? You don't want to squander something special like that. And it's kind of a special thing. So maybe we bring it back, kind of like we brought back the purple dinosaur jerseys in 20-year anniversary of the Raptors that one year. Maybe we have a season where we wear the earned jerseys as a throwback to our championship year at some point. But yeah, I don't know if I want to see them regularly because in some ways you water it down. It doesn't mean as much and it's not as special if you do that. So in some ways you want to make it a very special occasion. And when we wear those earned ones eventually again, that'll be really cool to see if we win consistently with them on still. Monique is saying the interviews have already started with Carlton. Brittany Carlton's getting interviewed, WNBA. Check CBC YouTube channel. All right, good heads up from Monique. Let me just finish up real quick. We'll go over anything I forgot. The games today, New York at Miami. Scott Foster, Kevin Scott, and Trey Maddox are the refs. They all favor the Miami Heat. Golden State at the Lakers. John Goble, Courtney Kirkland, and Mark Lindsay are the refs. John Goble and Mark Lindsay favor the Golden State Warriors. Meanwhile, Courtney Kirkland actually favors the Lakers. So there you go. Yeah, just good stuff all around. I came up with my teams. If you want to look at my all NBA and all defensive teams, my picks, I'll have the spreadsheet link in the comments so you can check that out. And I'll also get those spreadsheets of the votes and how people voted for the all NBA votes and stuff like that also. All right, let's see. Mike's saying we won 2 types of jerseys during the finals. We wore 2 types of jerseys during the finals. Only 2 types of jerseys were used: the black normal for home and the white with the red chevron away. I don't totally understand what you're saying. We won with the red with the white chevron. You're saying the white with the red chevron. No, it was the red with the white chevron. Infamous is saying not fan of the WNBA due to their animosity towards NBA players trying to promote their product. Look up Luca and Iguodala comments. What? I don't understand this one, Infamous. Well, that's fine. If you don't want to be a fan of the WNBA, that's fine. But I'm not going to sell you them or I love it. I think that it's a good product. I watched it very early on, the first couple of seasons. I was really into it. And then I didn't watch it for a while because I think I got busy during summers and I didn't have a chance to really watch it. But in the very beginning, I was really into it. Like Cynthia Cooper, Rebecca Lobo, the very beginning, like Houston Comments and New York Liberty. That stuff was really fun. I don't even know what you're talking about. The animosity towards NBA players trying to promote their products. Look up Luca and Iguodala's comments. Yeah, I don't know what any of this controversy or things with this. I would think that they probably like they shouldn't have a problem with the WNBA. I don't know. It's up to you. It's not for everybody, but yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm excited about this. Isaac saying Tom Duke has been busy with his new horticulture YouTube channel, The Inspiring Gardener. Do you have a channel? Seriously, Tom? Like, cause seriously, I just started following a whole bunch of gardening channels. Like, I'm really getting into this. Like, I'm really interested in growing my own food and learning as much as possible about things. I'm like learning how to make raised beds, and also like how to compost and mulch and do all kinds of different things. So, let's see. Isaac's also saying, I love the first episode where you dressed up as a raptor and demonstrated how to shake all those tomato plants to spur on pollination. Okay, I don't know if this is true. I think Isaac's making stuff up. It's pretty funny. But if Tom has these kind of clips going on his channel, I want to check them out. Seriously. Cool Cat saying WNBA product on the floor is fantastic. You see serious basketball skills on display. It's more pure form of the game. In fact, if people are disenchanted with the NBA being too superstar highlight oriented, watch the WNBA because it's the way basketball should be played as a team sport, really using each other like as teammates way better, not so individualistic. And in some ways, it's more beautiful to watch because there's a little bit more synchronization with your teammates and how they're all working together. And they just have their stuff together in some ways better than NBA teams in some ways. So I'm with Cool Cat on this. It is a fantastic game to watch for sure. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Tomorrow we'll do the Saturday Share the Love Club for Savannah Hamilton. We're going to celebrate her career as a player collegially and also her career as a broadcaster. And just all around, just, somebody that we really appreciate in the Raptors world as far as her contributions with the broadcasting and just different things. All right. Thanks for watching today, guys. You reverse the colors. Okay, so you meant that. All right, cool, Mike. I was wondering. It was like, we still wear the white one with the red chevron. That's actually one we still wear. We just don't wear the red one with the white chevron. All right, y'all. Thanks again. Let's go Raptors and have a great TGIF. Get out there, touch grass, share love, all the stuff Scotty always says. Cowboys saying, have a great day, Lex. Everyone have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. Yeah, that's a great sentiment. All right. Thank you, Bradley. Let's go, Raptors. OG Anunoby should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I put him on defensive first team. And Pascal, I put him on the second team All NBA. There you go. Check out my teams. They're in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m.